quickly. We become used to the shocks aimed at our wild natures. We adapt to violence against the psyche's knowing nature. We try to be good while normalizing the abnormal. As a result, we lose our power to flee. We lose our power to lobby for the elements of soul and life we find most valuable. When we are obsessed with the red shoes, all kinds of important personal, cultural, and environmental matters fall by the wayside. I flipped to that page. I haven't opened up this book for far too long. This is my Bible. My son used to bring this book to me, even into his teens. And when we stopped reading this is when trouble began and festered and took us down. Yes, we're alive. You're not breathing safely like we once did. My son certainly isn't. I live in a 150 square foot office. I piss in a bloody sink. Well, it's not bleeding because there's no blood in it because I don't bleed anymore. I'm sure I do. It just doesn't come out of me, meaning that my period stopped. And I don't call it the rag like some disgusting Injun the other day when I was buying supposedly not meat fish because it's cold-blooded. He's cold-blooded. He's a cold-blooded Indian. He came up with blood all over his fingers. He said, "That's okay. I did it cutting the fish for your dogs." Or right away, playing the game. Yeah, the major taker. Not Indian giver, Indian taker. I had a native like that, a full-blooded Cree that bashed my head, not even against a tree, a bathtub. And all he saw was me being his abusive daddy. And my dad had just died. And I went to his place to talk to him, to see him. I didn't know yet that he was emotionally unavailable. Available for other things, of course. Next thing I know, I don't even remember how he threw me into the bathtub, all my clothes on. There was no water. That's why my clothes weren't wet. The next thing he did to me. I woke up that next morning in a very foreign place where nobody would want to be. And there were a bunch of mean Injuns there. Females, and they look real rough, so I had to get out. I had never been to a place like before, like that, or since. And I phoned him and said, "I'm going to go to the papers about this. How did I end up in this place?" And then I found out from him that he did it. Story that people don't deserve to hear right now. Many people were complicit in the crime. 4 of them that took me to this place. And they believed his lies because he knocked me out unconsciously. He probably thought he killed me. Lucky me that I'm not dead, or I wouldn't have had his baby. My baby. Our baby? Which one? Let's do muscle testing, find out which resonates. Why don't you, Kaylin? Why don't you, baby K at 27, find out what feels right instead of doing other things to numb your feelings? 3 years later, I have his baby. Of course, I put it all to sleep what he did. Today, I woke up with a almost locked jaw at the top, and I wondered, why would this happen? I was sleeping on that side, the left side, the healthier side for your heart and whatnot. Why would I, there's Edward if you want to look at him. Why would I be hurting on my upper jaw? Well, the reason I am is because I asked myself, why is my upper face jaw hurting? Boom, vivid recollection, cellular memory, more stuff coming up. Kevin bashing my head. And that was in 1993. is 2023. 30 years later. I'm starting to remember more that I put to sleep. Nobody helped me through that. My dad had just died. I could never call my dad. He was always working. Wicked stepmother Betty the B.I. was always there, putting me down, berating me. Drunk every goddamn godlessness night. Total drunk. With a gala keg. She drank the whole thing by herself, and my dad had to listen to that wretched shit. My dad had quit drinking at 50. When he died at 63, thanks to Betty killing him, that stuff killed him. I just realized recently my dad, narcissistic abuse. He ended up with a horrible, my great aunt would call her on the inside of a woman's body that's supposed to be sweet and lovely, and would call her another name. She was disgusting. So she ended up killing him off. Imagine someone drinking a gala keg every goddamn night of your life for the rest of your life until she ended it. No, Frank, we need another motorhome. How many motorhomes can you drive? Piss in at one time, clean up. He knew he'd never end up retiring. He wanted to retire early until she had to have another house, another this, another that. What was it, 4,000 or 40,000? A bathtub had special jets in it to show him, what she needed, that apparently she was letting the whole world know she wasn't getting, because of the lecherous, disgusting skunk of a female alky only deserves the best. So my dad ended up with his dad. My dad ended up with an abuser. I wouldn't doubt it if she hit him or threw things at him if she didn't get her way. Took his 3 pensions, left my mother bereft. My mother died early. I'm the only one in this sick, dysfunctional family that's put it together as well. All the poems I wrote for my dad various times as a teenager, and then in my 20s, I sent to him. He kept. Betty the B.I. told me, your dad kept every one of your poems. But did she offer them back to me? No. I was in shock that he was dead. How the hell would I know to take something? I said, could I have anything of his that smells like him? I just want a shirt. I didn't want anything. She took all the money. She took the home. She took the boat. She took even my brother, the same size feet as my dad. Looked like a little replica of my dad. Shouldn't even bloody well give him a thing. Not even the boots off of my dad. God, if I'd had that motorhome my dad had, or that camper, I never would have been without a home. Homeless, they call it. If I'd had that boat to sleep in, or drive, or put in a marina, I never would have been living under a fucking bridge for 6 months. And neither would my brother, after my sister stole his daughter. Jacqueline, living in your snow-capped dream, the poem I wrote you. Every one of my sisters, I have written poems for them. I have taken stunning photographs of them and their children. The ones I didn't get were stolen by a guy in a penthouse that seems to think that he's God, and he is fucking godless incarnate. The only time that anyone that I know helps me one iota is when I'm broken down and I'm about ready to croak and just cash in my chips, and I don't go to the casino anyway. The scariest thing I did last night was I crossed a bunch of streets on a red light. Gee, I hope that doesn't fuck up my my credit score. Was with a guy from India that was living in the UK. And I said, what are you running from? It's so stuffy in this place. It's just terrible. I had hemorrhages after my mom was killed. A series of them. I minimized it so much that I went to my blog, or my ex, Sir Antonator, Helmut Antony, said, yeah, you look pretty there. He never told me I looked pretty ever. And then I looked, yeah, blood is coming out of my nose and my mouth. It's all over my pillow. Gee, I wonder what I should look like. Wait till I'm fucking full of embalming fluid. And then you want to put makeup on me and say, oh, Jesus, fuck, she really could look good. What a pile of crap. I minimized what people did to me. I minimized what was done to me. I minimized how horrific they were. I helped a guy in a wheelchair that I've helped. He told me your horror stories. I couldn't sleep, And he's feeling sorry for himself over that. Well, I'm not going to be going there again. I'm not going to be giving you a goddamn 3-hour massage on your poor legs, wimpy legs that are fucking cracking open that don't even stay in a wheelchair. And the wheelchair gets you sympathy. I don't give a shit. Your name won't be said here, but I don't. I'm done. I'm just done. Yeah, so the things us women have tolerated. Who was there for my 34-hour labor? I realized that all the people had drug addictions. I didn't know that then. Earlier today, I just imagined Carol, my sister, the eldest of the younger of the three. I would have loved to have had you at my 34-hour labor. Well, I didn't want to have the baby in a hospital. I wanted my baby born with the dolphins in Tahiti. I had a newspaper cutout. I had money coming. But the $18,000 for being raped and almost killed from the BC government never fucking came till later. Imagine putting together your victim impact statement, one more, to get some lousy dollars from the government. No, it was 8,000. Joke, wasn't 18,000. That's for another case where my head was sent through the windshield of a cab's car, and I was sent across an intersection after he pushed me against a bus, and the bus fucking moved, so I didn't get rammed, and it was a hit. It was a hit, and I knew who did it. WKM. Do you know that just about every president that ever lived, how many is that? Not many. They had many hits against them. Most of them failed. People even believe that President Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. Anybody with critical thinking and common sense knows that's hogwash. You don't even have to know all the other information to know that. They always pick on a poor, crazy person. They feed them a string of lies. They give them some money. They set them up as their patsy. That's what they called the old day, the patsy, the scapegoat. I know all about being set up as a scapegoat. All about it. I can't believe the horrors that I've seen down here in hell. There is no greater hell than being down here on earth. Nothing. Nothing. It's just a bad fairy tale. And the more light you have, the more love you have, the more you're a target. It doesn't matter if you don't have your strawberry blonde hair, sun bleached by the sun, that you never did die, and people wanted to believe that you died because it was streaked, from the chlorine. I didn't even realize that. My priorities years ago, work out every day, 4 hours a night. I had a spectacular body. Nobody told me that, though. No. Fred Barnes, Chicago Blackhawks, white trash. He was with them, and he was 36, I was 22. And he said, you have the best legs I have ever seen. And believe me, he had lots of them wrapped around him, playing the good guy. He's a disgusting lecher. And he said, you have the best legs I've ever seen. So that in his arena, dating models and actresses and probably playmates, all the rest of it, and married to an ex-model, and trading her up, trading Shelley for me. I know Shelley, he was with Shelley while married to Virginia Barnes in North Van. And then I met his son, Nate, who called girls, and he's just a little boy, chickadees, already taken after his father. Disgusting. and he cheated on his wife forever. So I was his regular gal, his number two. Narcs always have a steady at home, the wifey, and then they lie. I was so goddamn naive. I was so naive. And I was recovering from cancer. And all he said was, how long till I can get in there? That's what he said. Not a flower, not a gift, not a hug. How long? Well, Fred, they said 10 days. Okay, I'll take you away. Your suitcase doesn't look very good. It looks like it's just busting open. I'll have to buy you one for Christmas. I said, no, if you're going to buy me a gift, buy it for me. Don't wait till Christmas. And I don't remember if I took my beat up old suitcase, and he took me down to Palm Springs. He set up so his friend watched us at night. When his friend came in, I pushed him out of there. And then one night, his friend came in, and his friend took care of my top part, which I didn't want him taking care of. I had bruises on my nipples, around my nipples, my areola. Savage. It was abuse. It was so bad. And did he ever say sorry for that? Of course not. He said, I know you fucked him. I said, what? You were right there. I wouldn't let him anywhere. He didn't try. I didn't allow it. Piece of shit. And then he said, he sent me home early. Well, that's why. Because he abused me. And everything about me felt it was wrong. And I just had the cervical cancer, malignant. Tip of my cervix cut off, and that fucking piece of shit. You don't want me to mention your name around? You better give me a payout. You better pay up, you piece of crap. That's one slime ball. Fred fucking asshole Barnes. Fuck you. Your poor wife. I wrote poems for Fred Barnes too. So many of them. Oh my God, they were amazing because he played the sophisticated double-breasted suit. He was the regional, the manager, the director of Canada Post, and he had C Channel. He was the director of Canada Post. I had no idea that was a big corporation. I had such an insular, sweet, lovely life. Oh my God, I was so Anna Green Gables. I was ripe for the plucking, you bastard. I had just been raped at 19. I was the perfect candidate to have cervical cancer. A real sucker is born every day. She looks pretty good, so let's not tell her she's got cancer through her body. She doesn't look like it, but she definitely looks like she could have stage 3 cervical malignant cancer. Let's lay that fucking lie on her, because I think it was a lie. Dr. College, and then you call in Dr. Knickerbocker. Bastards. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Imagine if I'd lost my breasts like another doctor wanted me to donate. Yeah, right. Imagine if I'd given my womanly feminine parts to the goddamn sick, sordid, psychophantic, psychotic system. So, I fell, just to let you know. I fell on my bicycle going down this fucking hallway. Someone from a restaurant outside the other set of metal doors where I am had spilt water all over when they were dumping their shit. And it made me take a big fly. And if I hadn't been holding on to my bike, I don't know what would have happened to me. I still have a hurt ankle. Landed right on my tailbone and bum. I know how to take a fall. People want me to be a stunt woman. That doesn't mean I'm supposed to have stunts played on me. Never get compensated. And I don't even have a goddamn phone that works right now because Google has taken over all my stuff. I couldn't even phone my son. Not that he ever phones me. I called the girl 2 or 3 times in a row. She probably thought I was some doddering old lady. But it's because I couldn't quite remember 2 of his digits because some of his digits are the same as mine. Most people don't even remember their children or their mother's number if they don't have it queued in. That's not the story. And then I did leave a message, but he doesn't bother to answer. I'm just going to drop off the face of the earth. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to just delete. And I will. I know what I'm like. I just turn my back and I never look back. It takes a lot to do it, but I will be doing it. I've been planning my escape for a while. There is such a loss of meaning when one gives up the life made by hands that all manner of injuries to psyche, nature, culture, family, and so forth are then allowed to occur. The harm to nature is commitment with the stunning of the psyches. Thelma's over here pulling her tail. Psyches from underneath me of humans, she just sighed. They are, I got tears. They are not and cannot be seen as separate from one another. When one group talks about how wrong the wild is and the other group argues that the wild has been wronged, something is drastically wrong. In the instinctive psyche, the wild woman looks out on the forest and sees a home for herself and all humans. Yet others may look at the same forest and imagine it barren of trees and their pockets. Yeah, I live right downtown here, and their pockets bursting with money. These represent serious splits in the ability to live and let live, so that all can live. Like what they've done to the bears and all the beautiful wild creatures coming down to garbage cans to eat. Polar bears eating out of fucking garbage cans. Most people downtown won't eat out of a garbage can. They'll just take some drugs. They couldn't give a shit what they... I saw a girl once eating out of a garbage can. And when it was food that somebody just prepared and they got too much and they dumped it into a garbage can, and she all started to eat it, not because she was that hungry, because she wanted to get sympathy from me and get money. That didn't work. It was a game. Just like a full circle, the Indian that I got the fish that he hunts, he sold 40 fish last week. If you knew what he charges for a fish, that's a damn good income. Then he works on a tugboat as a deckhand, but now they have to learn how to be an engineer or else they lose their job. So he's doing the job of more than one person. He just wanted to be a deckhand so he could be outside and tell me about this wily weasel and all these great stories. And then when he's not working, he's a total disgusting drunk, and he gives Indians a bad name. And he just happens to live in the same building I lived in, where I lived with a native. Yeah. How interesting is that? And I had been making a joke about, that native I knew, he no child support, no nothing. Truth, oh my God. And he can't even, now I got 2 dogs for 11 years, he can't even throw us a gosh damn shaman or a case of vanilla. And next thing, I make that joke a couple times. I feel it. I know I need fish for my dogs. Wild, fresh, sockeye, coho right now. I'm learning. And then I start talking to a native that's drunk. It's a big 6-foot native, taller than the one I had a child with, but not as good looking. Oh no, that bastard was good looking. He was a player, and he was a gigolo. The guy I was with a gigolo. Now he's getting older, doesn't look as good. He's looking more like a native. I mean, a drunk, big open pores, and he doesn't look good anymore. He looks like a drunk. I think all people I won't even say it. So, drinking, I have never in my life met a good-looking drunk, especially when they get old. And all their vanity, their ego, all that made them so super sexy and fill my cup for free, all gone. They have to lower their expectations, and next thing they're down with the winos on the east side, which is where he lives now, in an SRO, with the winos and the people on the street selling his dark, macabre art. It is horrible, horrible art, just awful. And his energy is so dark and ugly. I will no longer be ever sucked in by him again, ever, ever, ever. And the last time I saw him, WKM, was at my son's birthday, where he made a fool of himself and was a disgusting pig. My son won't talk about it. My son said not a word at his own birthday. I couldn't even give a tribute to my son, all the things I had intended, all the things I'd set up, because he started to make sexual references to me orally at the table in front of my child. That's just disgusting. I didn't play into it. I just kept my lips zipped, didn't give him any attention, let him ruin the meal for my child, let him run the show. And he had two loser friends with very good money coming in because he knows how to keep people to take care of his mistakes. Oh, he has many alcoholic people in his life that have a lot of money and want him around. They're probably screwing him together, separate. They're getting something from him, male and female, that night. Anyway, because I fell down, went bang, bang on my back and got scraped up, I had nobody to go to. My phone wasn't working to even send a text to the owner of my office, and he wouldn't have given me compassion anyway. I have to remember that. He likes money. He's not a doler outer of compassion. That's not his role. I have a plugged up sink right now. I don't have a bathtub or a shower, and I'm living in a survival mode, and I have so much to give. And there are people living in worse situations than me that are beautiful people because of this Asian invasion, this fucking corruption that's happening in Vancouver. I just talked to a guy at length for over an hour, walked around town with this well-kempt, really smart, intelligent guy. That's what he said. I can tell you're smart. You're really smart. And I said, what do you miss about London? And he said there isn't anywhere close to the drug war here as there, and that London is a big corrupt city, but nothing like the drug problem that we have here, and it is way bigger than here. My eyes are hurting; they're throbbing. I feel that soon I might be having hemorrhage coming out of my nose and mouth. I really hope not. I have so much I'm doing right now. I'm not going to even talk about one of the legal things I'm working on because people don't deserve to know about it. And is really draining me because I have to go into the past to deal with things that were done. And without any hugs, without any kindness. And I'm pretty sure I might just collapse. I don't know when. I don't know where. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen if things don't change soon. Bring in the cavalry. Bring in the keeper of the light. Keepers of the light. Bring in the team. Bring in the helpers and the healers. Here I am. I'm worthy. I know that. My head's hurting. So that's that for a short snippet. Love those who give love constantly. I've got a family of 3 to take care of. I spend a lot of money and time. And warding off attacks, warding off thefts, warding off being hit by cars, my dogs when they were puppies. And multiple attacks and rape against her in the fall. And the pregnancy with 2 dead babies and the Christmas. And at Christmas, not one person called me, phoned me, wrote to me, came to my door, completely alone. One more Christmas, one more birthday, completely alone. Mother's Day, completely alone. I don't matter. I might as well be dead. To those ignorant, hopeless, helpless people, and some are in my own family, and I'm not taking responsibility for all of them or any of them anymore. Amen.